No more player power, standing up to Man United's big names and working them like dogs. Why a draw at Liverpool was Ruben Amorim's first real victory, writes Oliver Holt. One draw, whoever it is earned against, does not mean salvation. 1 point, whoever the opposition, does not mean deliverance. Not even from the relegation struggle that Manchester United have allowed themselves to be dragged into. Not yet. But the share of the spoils that Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, Diogo Dalot and their teammates carved out amid the banks of snow piled on the touchlines at Anfield on Sunday still felt as if it could be a significant prize in a recent history of struggle and mediocrity. Most of all, that was because that solitary point against Liverpool, a point that moved them from 14th to 13th in the Premier League table, actually felt like a hugely important victory for Ruben Amorim as United's new head coach tries to make sense of the chaos he has inherited and assert his authority over a fallen giant. Some were starting to question already whether he was up to the job at Old Trafford. People said he was too honest. People said his 3-4-2-1 system was too rigid. Some wondered whether he might already be regretting moving from Sporting Lisbon. Jamie Carragher, always an erudite observer, drew comparisons with Graham Potter at Chelsea. Some said he had been found out. Sunday was a draw, but it was also Amorim's first victory. Sure, United beat Manchester City last month, but they played poorly in that smash-and-grab raid, and the City team they beat was already reeling amid the realization of their own sudden ordinariness. What United did at Anfield was different. I haven't seen a United performance like that for a long time. I had grown used to watching them play Manchester City and Liverpool and, more recently, Arsenal, and being astonished by the complacency of United players who had absolutely no right to be complacent. Man United may have only drawn with Liverpool on Sunday, but it was Ruben Amorim's first win. It was the first sign Amorim may have made the breakthrough United fans have craved. It was Amad Diallo's late strike that salvaged a point for the Red Devils at Anfield every single time they played each other. The City teams of Pep Guardiola and the Liverpool sides of Jurgen Klopp outworked United. They outfought them and they outran them. On the most basic level, United players have given the distinct impression that hard graft was beneath them. For way too long now, players have treated signing for Manchester United as if they have just been handed a lifetime pass for Easy Street. Sign for United and you get to lie on coffee sacks in the loft all day, goofing off like Terry Malloy in On the Waterfront. For too many of them, signing for United has been the end of a journey, an achievement in itself, not the beginning of something. It seemed to be a particular failing of United's appallingly naive and starstruck recruitment policy that they bought players drunk on their own economic power and apparently impervious to the pleadings of a succession of helpless managers. Entitlement has become the Manchester United disease. United's performance on Sunday felt like the first breath of change. It was the first finite sign of the beginning of the end of the toxic culture that has hobbled the club in the post-Sir Alex Ferguson years, where too many regarded success as an automatic right. In that context, the level of United's commitment on Sunday was startling. On Sunday, they made Liverpool look like the team that was taking something for granted. Manuel Ugarte, Fernandes, Dalot and Kobbie Mainoo worked like dogs. They were quicker than their Liverpool counterparts. They were hungrier, they were braver, they were more fierce, they were more determined. That kind of attitude has not been evident at United for a long time. They fought so hard no one would have begrudged them the win they deserved. It was instructive that Amorim's first words in his press conference after the Liverpool game took direct aim at that toxic culture he discovered when he arrived. United's performance on Sunday felt like the first breath of change under Amorim. On Sunday, they made Liverpool look like the team that was taking something for granted. The most important thing to address today is the mentality, and that is the key for everything, he said. So today we were a different team, not because of the system, not because of the technical aspect of the game. We faced the competition in the way we are supposed to face every day, training and match. I am trying to push this team every day. I am always challenging the players in everything that we do because I feel that we are not just the players but everybody at Manchester United, too comfortable. Too comfortable? Absolutely right. They ought to write that as the epitaph for the united careers of the band of players who have passed through Old Trafford in the last decade, picking up their bloated wages, expecting trophies to alight upon them. It takes a strong character to challenge that status quo when it gets embedded, and Amorim is giving it his best shot. I admire what he's doing at Old Trafford and the way he's doing it and the way he is challenging conventional wisdom about how a modern coach must tiptoe around modern players. Amorim is going against conventional wisdom by refusing to protect his players. He wants to shock them. He wants to make them stand up. He wants to make them start taking responsibility at last. So he has taken them on. He has chosen honesty. He has talked about them being afraid. He has made them, and us, aware there will be consequences if they do not give their all in training. He showed he was not afraid to take on Marcus Rashford, the most powerful player of all. Enough with swaddling them all like infant children. Enough with cocooning them in the comfort of their own wealth and entitlement. Enough with bowing to player power. It takes courage to do what Amorim is doing, and Sunday was the first sign he may have made the breakthrough all United fans have craved, the one thing Ruben Amorim needed to revive Man United. The man challenging Cole Palmer as the top flight's best penalty taker and the disciplinary problem holding Arsenal back. Premier League things we learned: even when Liverpool finally hit a bump in the road, their challengers aren't in a position to pounce as Liverpool stumbled against a much improved Manchester United side. So did Chelsea against Crystal Palace, and Arsenal against Brighton. A win for Nottingham Forest on Monday night would take them level on points with second-placed Arsenal, albeit still 6 adrift of Liverpool, who will have played a game fewer at the other end. It feels like an opportunity missed for Ipswich Town in their bid to avoid the drop. Southampton's new manager bounce hasn't kicked in as they look condemned. Everton are struggling to buy a goal right now. Newcastle look like the hottest team in the division right now. Brian Mbeumo continues his bid to make the team of the season come May as he took his tally to 13. Heading into Monday night's game, there were 29 goals scored across the Premier League's latest slate and just 2 clean sheets to speak of in a highly entertaining card as the battle at the top, the battle for Europe and the battle to avoid the drop all heat up. In the latest installment of this weekly column, Mail Sport picks out 5 of the most interesting talking points to emerge from the Premier League's latest round of matches. All Ruben Amorim wanted when he arrived at Manchester United was some time to coach. He pitched up at Portman Road for his first game as United's head coach and saw his side confused and anxious up against Ipswich. Players kept looking to the bench trying to seek assurances that they were where they needed to be in his 3-4-3 system. That confusion has been debilitating for much of his tenure, players trying to learn on the fly as they navigate games every 3 or 4 days. But, finally, Amorim had a near full week of training without Carabao Cup, Premier League, FA Cup or Europa League getting in the way. And what fans saw at Anfield, a far clearer structure, players with confidence in the plan, is why patience is a virtue. Today we changed the mindset, Lisandro Martinez, who scored United's first of 2 goals at Anfield, said afterwards. The belief, the confidence I saw everyone secure today with confidence in every duel, with the ball, defending. He continued, in what proved a really valuable insight into the mindset of the players. A few games ago when we lost the ball we were stressed, thinking too much, and today we played without feelings. When you play like that you can enjoy football. Now, Amorim is far too experienced to know that one draw at Anfield is not the antidote to all of United's problems, for which there are plenty. But many of the issues he has been facing has been a delay in clearly and concisely getting his ideas across, to the point where figures in the game were urging him to abandon his system and change his plans to suit the players at his disposal. The solidity with which United played at Liverpool, the energy they had, the way they made the best team in Europe look, for large spells, ordinary is exactly why he was right to stick with his plan. Amorim is at his core a coach who was brought to United in part because the powers that be believe he can get more out of players that have underperformed for far too long. Liverpool is a start, but is evidence enough that give Amorim time to coach and educate, and Manchester United can once again row in the right direction.